parable of the rich fool from Luke chapter 12, verses 13 to 21. Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But Jesus said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." Then Jesus told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly. And he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool! This very night your life is being demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God.'" There ends the reading.
Thank you, Lord. Okay. I want you to go back, those of you that know United States history, I want you to go back a few years and see who can tell me the significance of United Airlines flight number 1549. I'll give you some extra clues if that doesn't ring a bell.
Must be 9/11.
1549. It was not 9/11, but that's a good guess. It's a good guess. It's not the Long Island flight. That was Sully's flight? It was Sully's flight. All right, there we go. Miracle on the Hudson. Y'all remember it was January the 15th of 2009. The flight took off from LaGuardia. There was a bird strike. The flight was supposed to go to Charlotte. It was supposed to go to Seattle. It did not happen. Sully Sullenberger started to guide the airplane like a glider and landed on the Hudson River. Most people here have flown, and most people here have been instructed what to do if there's emergency measures. And the people on the flight went into that mode of evacuation. But surprisingly, before some people started to head out the exit aisle, wherever that took them, some people reached under their seats to get their possessions, or even opened the overhead bins. Now, this plane, any moment, could have gone Titanic. It could have gone down. And then when they got off the plane, it wasn't a tarmac, it was the Hudson River. But people had to be reminded, evacuate. Leave your possessions behind. Take nothing. That day was biblical because it was similar to Jesus' parable about possession. We have complex relationships with things. Things can complicate our lives. We want security. We want well-being. And that's certainly understandable. Last Sunday, we were given the instruction that Jesus gave about the Lord's Prayer, and that is, "Give us this day our daily bread." So Jesus taught us to ask for sustenance in our lives. But Jesus taught us to ask God to be the provider of that which sustains us. And this morning, we're going to examine the nature of our possessions and our relationship with possessions. and you are providing the sermon to each other. And so in just a moment, I'm going to invite you to turn toward those at your table. And I've listed a few questions to prompt you with if you'll look at the handout that I gave you. And you can latch on to any one of these. But I'm just wondering, first identify yourself, introduce yourself to each other if you would at the tables. But then, of these questions, choose whichever one you might feel comfortable with. I'm wondering, what is the earliest memory? And you can just do this memory, this mental gymnastics right now. What's your memory of your first possession when you knew that that was mine? That was mine. So that's one. And how did it make you feel to know that that was yours? And then at some point in your life, you acquired a possession that brought deep satisfaction to you. And what is the significance of that possession? Or what is a cherished possession today that you would hate to lose? Jesus reminds us that life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. And does this teaching challenge you personally? Why or why not? And what's been a helpful lesson or guide for you with regard to your possessions? So there's several talking points. Choose whichever one you're comfortable with. You don't have to reveal anything more than you want to that's in your comfort zone. Turn now, if you will, to your neighbors and share some conversations about the complexity of possession.
Get Paul and Bob over to some table. Come over.
Jump in.
Do I turn it off?
Yeah, turn it on.